Hey there guys, gals, non-binary pals, GM Potter here. Welcome to my channel where I review books and bookish things. Today we will be going over The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker for the spooky books of October, and I thought this would be a fun one to kick us off with. So let's get into it. As you probably know, The Hellbound Heart is written by Clive Barker, who also wrote and directed Hellraiser, which is based on this book. Hence the skull with all the nails sticking out of it, like the lead Cenobite in Hellraiser. So this book is a novella. It's got multiple points of view, detailing the different characters. And I feel like it's important to detail both the book and the movie because they are so closely related to each other. One is the basis for the other, and it's really a fairly honest and accurate portrayal of the book. There are some key changes that in it though that I think make the book a little better. The movie is 5 of 5 stars. I love Hellraiser. I've watched all the Hellraiser movies except for the remake because I wasn't sure I wanted to watch that one. And I've read the comics. So I thought I would give the book a chance, and I was not disappointed. So starting off with the first real difference that comes to us in the book, we start out with Frank's chapter. Frank, of course, being the degenerate brother of our main character, Julia's husband, Rory. So Frank is there. He's trying to open the box. He's trying to open it to get to Untold Pleasures, and he thinks it's going to be like orgies and lollipops is what he's thinking in the book. Whereas in the movie, he kind of expects there to be it's almost like he expects there to be a mix of pleasure and pain. So when the Cenobites come, he's not like confused and begging with them not to do this. So another key difference is Kirsty being Rory's friend who's in love with him in the book rather than his adult daughter. In the movie, she's his adult daughter and she just kind of goes in and out here and there. And it explains the distance between her and Julia, as Julia is her stepmother and things like that. Julia is in the book. They've been married for a couple of years, Julia and Rory, and Julia is over the marriage. She's been over the marriage before it started because she had a tryst with Frank, but in the book it's as joyless as R. Let's just say that. So that it was consensual, but it was as joyless as R, which is really disturbing. Like all Clive Barker books, this one was kind of disturbing in a way that the movie isn't. And I don't know how to describe that. That the unease that just builds throughout the movie is palpable in the book. The book confirms that there are other boxes early on, that there's one that the Marquis de Sade supposedly made. The box that we're focusing on this book is Le Marchand's box. In the book, Julia is hesitant about what to do, but willing. And it's from the first time she gets at it, the first time she unalives somebody, she really enjoys it. And she's like, yeah, I can get you another one tomorrow, okay. Like, she's more worried about getting caught than she is worried about doing the wrong thing and unaliving another person. In the movie, she's a little bit more, it feels like she's a little bit more hesitant in the movie to do it. She does enjoy it after a while, but not in the same way book Julia does. Kirsty tricks Frank. Okay. So, sorry, I'm all over the place today. So Kirsty goes up there after she sees a man going with Julia. She hears a scream. She comes in through the back door, and Julia's like, oh no, come see what's going on. And she, like, sees Frank and, like, rips his face off of his face and, like, beans him with the box and runs out into the street holding the box and, like, passes out and wakes up in a hospital, which is very similar to what happens in the movie. That she's found clutching the box and she's in a white hospital room. There was blood on the box from where she beamed Frank with it. And that gets into the little microscopic folds and crevices in the box, and so she can see how to open it more easily than Frank did. So she opens it. The Cenobites are like, hey, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know who we are. And she's like, no. Who the hell are you? And they're like, well, it wouldn't be the first time this happened, but you're still coming with us. And she's like, wait, I know Frank. Frank got away. And they're like, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. What do you know about Frank? Well, what if I can give you Frank? And she makes a deal with the Cenobite that Frank has to admit that he is Frank and that he escaped the Cenobites. So Kirsty tricks Frank and the Cenobites take him. Like, well, Frank puts on her father, not her father, in the movie, her father, in the book, her best friend's skin. And there's the line, come to daddy, that Frank says in this. And it's kind of, in the book, it's kind of Frank's catchphrase, that it's like this lurid sexual overtones catchphrase, where in the book, when Frank, wearing Rory's skin, says come to daddy, he's literally the character's father. So it makes a little bit more sense in the movie as like a throwaway line. In the book, it's more of a catchphrase, like it's said multiple times. So Kirsty tricks Frank, and the Cenobites take him and give her the box, that she is now the keeper of the box. That she's like, there's probably other boxes that lead to other dimensions. Maybe Rory's in one of the other boxes, because as she's looking at the box, she sees their faces in the mirrored surfaces of the lacquered box. And in the movie, maybe I just didn't get it. Like, I've seen the movie multiple times, but the main setting of the movie is this big house, right? It's this big house. And then in the last scene, we're in this, like, junkyard, empty city lot that's partially on fire in various places. And she tosses the box into the fire, and this, like, demon dragon appears and, like, takes it and goes. And that's supposed to be, like, the Cenobite's emissary on Earth, I think. So the ending for the movie is a little bit more, I feel, a little bit more ambiguous. That it's, like, setting it up for a sequel. The book, you could have a sequel, but it's tied up so well that you don't need a sequel. Whereas the movie kind of screams sequel at the end, I feel. So, that being said, the book is 5 of 5 stars. It's easily one of the best books I've read this year. Great way to kick off Spooky October. Yeah, some of the reviews on the back include Barker's the best thing to happen to horror fiction for many moons. He never fails to deliver, from the Chicago Tribune. Barker has a real gift for spooky stuff, the LA Times. The most imaginative of the macabre novelists. He just keeps getting better, Kansas City Star. To expect anything from this master of macabre to resemble the ordinary is asking for trouble, Portland's Sunday Oregonian, which I think that's the best one, because I've read 3 of his books. I've read this one, I've read The Damnation Game, and I've read The Great and Secret Show. This is my favorite. I love The Damnation Game. It's great, but I like this one better. And they're just so weird and creepy and pseudo-horror-esque. Like, there's a good amount of body horror going on. Like, he does body horror in novel form better than anybody else I've read. Like, I love the way he does body horror in books. Like, I'm a big fan of the body horror genre in movies. Like, I quite enjoy it. But it's harder, I feel, for authors to do it in writing, at least in the ones that I've read. And he does it so well. He does it better than film can capture it, because he makes you imagine it in your own mind. So you're imagining, your brain is filling in the gaps that are left when in writing, because it's not a visual medium. No matter how detailed a writer you are, there will always be gaps for the audience to fill in. That's part of the joy of reading. And he sets it up in such a way that the gaps that your brain fills in are just filled in with the worst thing you can imagine. Like, you're imagining pus and goo and gore and bile and like all sorts of stuff. Like, it is so good. He is such an amazing author. I'm so happy I read this book. So happy I got my hands on it and I got to read it for Spooky October. Have you read any Clive Barker? Have you read the Hellbound Heart? Did you like the Hellraiser movie, which he also directed and wrote? Let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay spooky.